Yeah, if I decide to apply to become a city councilor, okay, I would do a series of videos, and I'd say these are the files I would create or that exist I would want to work on, and these are the priorities. And one of them, I gotta say, as soon as I post this video, there's gonna be a big conspiracy behind closed doors that nobody's gonna vote for me. And one of them is I so don't want to shop in town here because there's too high a percentage of places that don't train their staff or don't care about customers, whether they're owners or staff that have worked there the whole time or managers. And I could read you just from my bicycle here the ridiculousness of text and the immaturity. And I'm just tired of, like people that either have reading and writing comprehension in their texts or that are dishonest and inconsistent or just don't care. They just don't care. And when, let's say there's two options for things you want, okay, and it could be, it could be services for my buddy here, or it could be, bicycle related, or it could be, what else? Like dollar stores things, or like really cheap things, or hardware things, Rona things, like those stores. I tell you, I want to be efficient and plan multiple errands in one day, but it's hard on my species alienation triggers. Because that means very likely if I have 5 errands, very likely 4 or 5 of those places I'll feel not valued as a human being. So for me, I would say to Chamber of Commerce or non-members of Chamber of Commerce, I said, there's got to be, you guys got to ask yourselves why, I'm not the only one, but why a lot of people just don't feel like you care when we go in there, right? It's almost like a customer. I'd prefer continuing to just lean against the counter. And it's like, oh, are you coming to help me there? No, somebody else does. And it's like they're like, if you have, they're helping you, but they resent questions. I don't know how. Like, is it you're supposed to move things for me? Is that how you thought you were going to help me? Like, it's so developmentally disabled. There's so many things that shows this, right? That there's such a lack of perfecting ourselves as people. And the worst you see is people that are employed. Now, they're happy if it's their familiars or friends or people they know that come shopping. But I tell you, businesses don't survive if you resent somebody that shouldn't be a stranger after 2 years, but still you want to maintain them as strangers and therefore not give them customer service. So that means I would say there has to be a file, Prince Rupert. We have to work with the Chamber of Commerce. Say, okay, we're going to bring somebody in. You pay for it, Chamber of Commerce, if you want people to shop here. And you make it transparent. That trains your staff in customer service skills. Okay, and it's not going to be easy because they're going to make an exam and you have to pass. And then the contract of hiring these people will have follow-ups and mystery shoppers. And pass these tests, Chamber of Commerce members or non-members of your businesses, and you'll see how much more it'll grow your business. Especially the price of gas. Like, people don't just go to Walmart to save or have more choice and pay so much more in fuel. Like, it's a lot of avoiding the lack of community skill and care and concern for others that is here. Okay, and there's a link to people brainwashed by capitalism, and they don't understand that they're their own worst enemies in their own businesses. There's no critical thinking skills with a small town with that many churches, I can tell you that. And I tell you, people, that there's too much work to do. There's research I can do before even putting my name as a candidate, because I just want to confirm the red flags that I already know are there, that it's a losing battle for me, because people that I would work with or that have had the same complaints I've had would turn against me when I try to apply solutions as a culture repair. It's a losing battle. For me, I'd prefer to just find a little part-time job and continue to raise money to leave here. Because I know that there'll always be more steps backwards and forwards when people think it's about more money moving around, when it's about a lack of human thinking tools, of community values, and a lack of a motivation of too large a percentage of the people here to want to improve themselves, right? Personal development, to want to become better as individuals, not just for customers, but for, their kids, for their spouses, for their families, for their community. You can't say, I love Prince Rupert, how dare you criticize it, when you're often criticizing it too and part of the problem. You can't say that. You can't criticize somebody that dreams of leaving here all the time, but that would invest so much more than you if I was a counselor in this town. Okay, because I could talk to all these counselors. How much do you, want to problem solve? And did you get my email from from a year ago, whatever? And if you find it in your inbox, can you explain to me, that these solvable issues were not taken on by you, even though sometimes the newspaper a year later says, a lot of people are unhappy with the RCMP's investigations here. Like, how long have I talked about the RCMP here? Now, what if instead of applying to be a city councilor, or I decide, hey, I almost got voted in, but I had more people that worked against me. There's people that campaign against candidates, I'm not talking about foreign interference. I'm talking about domestic, local interference. And they would say, oh, I would just maybe miss the last spot to be voted in, and I'm not. Now, with all the people that would want to support me, and some similar things that, let's say, the councilors say I agree with that, I'd work on that. Just, this guy wants to leave, why would we vote him in? Don't vote for him. Well, the thing is if I'm voted in, I understand the concept of commitment, and I put 100%. But the thing is putting 100% when you're working with systemic issues, including in city politics, right? Whether it's like union politics or it's just official, public servants or just politicians or whatever it is, when they work against you and they do it behind closed doors, because, that's what cowards do. That's what adult children do, right? They don't debate it publicly like I would insist on, because then we could always break it down to, no, it comes down to this. It comes down to either you agree or don't agree to work on this, or this needs to be solved. And now the next step is, why don't you then agree to apply or work towards or assist somebody like me in applying these solutions? And it's really about this. It's about maintaining the status quo, because there's such a large intellectual laziness that's been growing in our species. And I know the grass is not greener somewhere else, but there is what we would have to diagnose as developmental disabilities, or the types of mental illnesses that affect majorities that nobody wants to talk about, that are so common that we're brainwashed to behave like and not question as automatons, right? We're there's so many parts of our cultures that train us to be automatons, and we just kind of go with the flow of stimuli response. There's no thinking at levels that reflect the size of our brains and what it's capable of. And it is a bit worse here than I've seen, let's say, in other rural... So for me, it's like, how crazy would I have to be to invest in a losing battle here, and to just risk a lot more stress in my life, when even when I try to live stress-free or a simple life, I just go into businesses like these, or receive this kind of crappy health care, or see again schools that desperately need me but they won't hire me because somehow I'm so different, right? As somebody that wants to live their lives by, human standards. And then I see you fail your kids, your grandkids. I see it all the time. I see everything that I've been talking about is getting worse. And a lot of people are kind of happy with those standards. I mean, they complain, and that's enough for them, because problem solving requires effort and requires also looking at ourselves in a mirror. What's my driving like? What's my parenting like? Hey, what if, I ask my kids about what it's like in the classroom, and what if I go kind of spend some time there, let's say as a volunteer or whatever. Because if you see the teacher's really stressed when a parent's there, it's probably they're acting differently than the norm, and it stresses them out. That means, you're getting an assessment right there. But again, that requires responsible adults, people, and I tell you, it's a losing battle in so many systemic issues of this community that I'm still not convinced to apply. I mean, most people would be working against me, including the people that have talked about a lot of the similar issues that need to be solved.